Here we go. We're launching it. Here we go. Launch, launch,
Oh my God.
launch.
You're like, oh my God, here we
Okay. All right. The notification has gone out. Okay. And we're going to go. Yep. Crispy Noodle is live now. We're going to start the show. This is so bizarre.
go. Are we live?
Yes, we are. All right, here we go.
Okay.
So let's get this started. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome, everybody! It's time for this week's episode of the Crispy Compact Communiqué. We are venturing again into uncharted waters. I mean, I figure this is the time to do it. You know, this has been such a crazy moment in human history. We're stepping everything up now. Now this is not only an audio podcast. Not only is this a video podcast, we're actually doing this one. We're experimenting with Facebook Live. This is so bizarre to me. It's something that actually, though, I've always wanted to do.
You have been. You've been trying to do this for a long time.
Yes. But here we are. We're live on Facebook Live to do the Crispy Compact Communique. I'm Rich Liebig.
I'm Michael Costanzo.
And we are here to give you the crispy noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. Another week in this crazy reality that we're living in. But you know what? We're doing our best. Everyone's staying at home. Everyone trying to follow the orders of the government, making sure everybody stays safe. But you know what? Sometimes out of dire times, out of necessity, something else comes out of the woodwork, and we're going to see if this takes off. So here we are doing the live dance on Facebook Live.
A live dance. Okay.
Yeah. But it's still the show you know and love. Before we get into sports, entertainment, odd news, everything like that, we've been doing a first introductory segment for the show since everybody is under lockdown or trying to stay at home called Staying Sane. So, Mike, what do you want to talk about for this first part of the show?
It's getting harder and harder to stay sane. I'll be perfectly honest with you.
Yes. Yes.
I'm taking a lot of walks is what I'm doing. I'm finding myself walking around a lot more. There's only so much Netflix and video games you can do. But I'm more interested in what you're going to be doing to stay sane, considering it's your birthday tomorrow.
Yes.
You have a quarantine birthday coming up, Rich. I know
Yeah.
you like to go out and you like to have fun, but there's no going out. So what are you going to be doing your first birthday on the wrong side of 30?
Well,
How are you going to be celebrating?
I posted this today.
Okay.
There's apparently a movement going on with Broadway shows that they're trying to broadcast shows for free to keep everybody entertained
Oh, okay, that's pretty cool.
during this time.
Right.
And this is not a joke. The show that is for my birthday tomorrow, April 17th, is Phantom of the Opera. So
That's your favorite musical.
right. So I'm going to be watching Phantom of the Opera, and Rachel's with me, so it'll be great. She loves Phantom too, so we're just going to be singing Phantom the entire day.
I mean, Phantom is one of the best musicals, and it's your favorite, so it's very apropos that they put it out for free on your birthday. So wait, tell me more about this. What do you mean they're putting out musicals for free? Like what service is this?
Yeah, it's part of a movement called The Show Must Go On.
Okay.
And it's and all these Broadway shows they don't have anything to do because they
Right.
can't they can't be together. So what they're doing is they're producing like whatever was the previous recording on Broadway of the show, they're gonna broadcast on YouTube for free.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah,
And so what is it, like one show a week? Like how does it work?
I think it's like once every 2 days or something.
Oh.
But it's gonna be great because I just love the fact that tomorrow landed on Phantom of the Opera on my birthday, my favorite musical. Andrew Lloyd Webber. I don't know if he had a hand in this, but it works out beautifully for me.
If Andrew Lloyd Webber had a hand in it.
Yeah. Maybe he did. I don't
He
know.
found out specifically. He's like, it's Rich's birthday coming up. I got to put out his favorite musical for free.
Yeah, he needs help. It's his birthday. He can't be listening to Ghost all the time.
No, we gotta no. You gotta break out of your ghost
And
habit.
by the way, I'm still keeping the tradition. Every single one of these Crispy Compact Communiques, I've worn a Ghost shirt.
So wait, how many ghost shirts do you have? Is this sort of like that's how many weeks of quarantine there's going to be?
Yeah, I think we could oddly keep track of how long this is last.
Like
based
if
on my
you
ghost
run
shirts.
out of if you run out of ghost shirts, does the quarantine end? How does this work?
Yeah, right. Does it end?
I'm not certain.
Does this end the Crispy Compact Communique? I don't know. Maybe it does.
You just have to go to a different band shirt.
Yeah, I got a couple Rolling Stones. I could switch gears into.
There you go.
So,
I'm wearing, what is this? Game of Thrones.
Yeah, we both got
Targaryen.
Both got red on.
Red. The crispy noodle color is red. It's almost like I don't know.
Yeah,
we didn't plan that at all.
No.
Not at all.
No, very odd.
It is odd.
Yep. Anything that you're doing to stay sane during this time of quarantine?
I've been playing a lot of video games. Catching up on some old classics. So my girlfriend is not a big gamer, so I've been playing a lot of like games. She's been watching me play games. I played BioShock a little bit.
Yeah.
She was getting kind of into that. I was thinking about playing The Last of Us, but I don't know if that's inappropriate given the current pandemic situation going on.
I mean, you could.
I could. I was thinking about it.
It'll teach you how to craft random weapons.
I'll tell you what, a game has never made me appreciate half a pair of scissors more than The Last of Us.
Yeah, that is weird. Yeah, you would find like half of a knife, and it's like, oh, but if you find that with the tape, then you can warp it.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah, it was a very strange dynamic to that.
Yeah, it was a fun and strange dynamic.
Yeah.
I also might revisit the Uncharted series because I don't know if you know this, but Sony recently announced that they're giving away the Uncharted collection for free to all PlayStation users and Journey as well. Mm-hmm. Have you ever played Journey, Rich?
Not Journey. I haven't played that one.
You should. If it's free, you should play it. It's a very simple. It's like a 2-hour game. It's one of those artsy fartsy games, but it's really cool. It's about being connected to other people, which is interesting given the circumstances. Yep. So, yeah, Sony's giving away a couple free games. I might dive into those again.
Yep, I would highly recommend Uncharted. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's the whole trilogy, too, they're giving away, right?
Yep, the first 3 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's free for everyone. It's not PlayStation Plus users. It's if you have a PlayStation,
it's yours.
You can get those games for free, yeah.
There you go.
So if you have a PlayStation, everybody go make use of that.
Yep. Okay, so there you go. That's what we're doing to stay sane. But let's get into the first batch of news topics. Of course, we're going to talk sports, and pretty much the only thing that is actually moving at this point is the NFL draft, the virtual NFL draft, the first time this is going to happen in NFL history. I also found this is an alleged story that Roger Goodell is going to announce the picks in his basement, which is interesting. Don't know how that's going to quite work, but
I mean, he should have his own, like, I don't know. I guess the commissioner wouldn't have his own recording studio or something, but
I mean, they could. I guess I shouldn't be talking because I am actually in a basement right now. So
I'm like in a dining room.
Yeah.
So you make do with what you have.
That's right.
I really want Goodell to come on and just be like surrounded by like just like this messed up room,
Yeah.
Like the basement is like half finished,
There's like random signed footballs, but like they're not neatly placed. They're kind of like just scattered everywhere.
Just all over the place. Yeah.
Oh, God damn it. Who signed this one? Get out of here.
Yeah, I wonder what the actual production is going to be. Whether they're going to have him in front of like a green screen and they'll just project something in back of him, or they'll probably have like a backdrop.
Yeah, they'll probably have something fancy for him.
It's the NFL. They're not going to shoot him in a closet.
That's what we think.
That's what we. I really want to see that happen.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling you, I'm almost willing to bet money on this. Something is going to happen because this is a virtual draft. Something is going to happen where a team is either going to have like a miscommunication or they're not going to get their draft pick in time with the deadline, with the ticking clock. I can totally see that happening.
But aren't the picks already submitted? Aren't they called in on phone? They're not changing the process at all, are they?
But each franchise,
Oh, on the
it's
back end, yeah.
yeah,
That's true.
each
That's true.
franchise is supposed to organize their own system.
Right.
Do you really mean to tell me that the Browns are going to have a state of the art system? Do you
I
really
remember
think
the one
that?
time the Browns messed up the trade deadline, didn't
Yeah,
they?
the
They like failed
Browns.
to get a trade in on time.
Yes.
So, yeah, I guess there are certain franchises that probably won't be totally on the ball, but I don't know. It'll be interesting. It'll be very interesting. What what are the protocols like if a team doesn't get their pick in on time?
So the I mean I don't maybe the
Like
ver-
if the clock runs out and they're like, Browns, do you have a pick? What happens?
so before this, I don't know, maybe the virtual draft they might have like something else. But before this, if a team did not pick before the clock expired,
Yeah.
then the next team up can make a pick, but the team that missed their pick can still try and get their pick in before the other team.
Okay.
So if so it
Basically,
yeah.
it's just like a designated space where you have like first dibs on any player you want, and then if
Yeah.
you don't take it during that space, you can still take your pick whenever.
Right. So
But
if
the next team could jump in.
right, so if you're the Browns and you waste your 2 minutes and then the Seahawks are next at 2:01, the Seahawks can make their pick,
So you got to be ready.
right, while the Browns try and get their pick in before the Seahawks try and capitalize on the mistake.
I wonder if something like that will happen
I
just
think
once
I
during
think
this
it's
draft.
just the nature of it. You know?
Yeah,
Something's got to
because
happen like
you have to
that.
figure, on the back end, you have the GM communicating with the coaches, communicating with the scouting department. I say that, but they probably already have, they have their boards. They have their board of best player available. They're
See, that's another thing to mention. That's why it's important that these staffs they have to even if they're out of the top 10 and there's no chance of a team moving into the top 10, they have to actually research everybody
yeah.
because
They
you
need
never know, there might be a situation where yes, a
right.
team goofs up and all of a sudden they can jump ahead.
Right. Or if their guys get taken, they need to have a consensus. They need to have a plan B and C
Yeah.
about who their next guy is going to be. So hopefully they've hammered all this out and they have their list of, their top 50 guys or whatever, their best player available list, and they just go based on that. I mean, everything's been said and done now to the nth degree with all these teams. They've been scouting and interviewing and doing their analysis. So hopefully now it's just a matter of phoning in the pick. That's what always weirded me out about the draft. Like, you should know who you're taking by that point. Remember when it was like 15 minutes for each one?
Yeah, that was weird.
I was like, you haven't decided by that point? The 15 minutes is going to make a difference?
Well, that always bugs me for like the first 3 picks.
Yeah.
Like
Like,
that should be pretty obvious who
right.
you're taking. You don't have too many you don't have too much competition
Yeah, but
between you and 2 other teams.
yeah, but I mean, the first round in general, you have your top guy that you want, and you have, a couple of backup options. Like, I
Mhm.
don't understand what the mystery is. Like take the Eagles at 21. They probably have like the first 20 guys laid out. Who they like in succession.
I think we all know what the Eagles must do in the draft.
I think it's pretty obvious they need to go wide receiver.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, this draft class is so deep at wide receiver, and we're so needy at wide receiver. If we don't go wide receiver, 2 out of the top 3 or 4 picks, I don't know what the Eagles are doing.
Yeah. So
Or it could be a smokescreen. They could be saying the class is so deep, we're going to trade back in the first round, get extra draft capital, and take like an offensive lineman or a defensive end, and just take a wide receiver in the high second.
I hope they don't do that.
I hope they don't do that.
They need.
But
It's time. It's time for this organization to have a star wide receiver. Their own star wide receiver, not one that they had to go out
right.
and lure into the franchise. No, it's time.
You need to find somebody, and they've said this. They need to find somebody that's going to grow and evolve next to Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
And be that dynamic duo. A lot of great quarterbacks have their go-to guy. Wentz doesn't have his go-to guy. He has Ertz, but he needs a reliable outside threat.
Yeah, his guy is Ertz.
Yeah. His
Yeah.
guy his guy is Ertz, and the offense runs through him. But when you have nobody else, it's easy for defenses to focus in on that one player.
Yeah.
You know,
Any other surprises that you think might happen in the draft next Thursday? It's going to be this time Thursday. Which, by the way, I mentioned in the little scroll thing that we got, the ticker tape. If this thing is cool, maybe we do some sort of NFL draft special. Maybe, I don't know.
ooh, that might be
Just
fun.
throwing that
Yeah,
out there.
live reactions.
Maybe.
I don't know. We'll think about it. Surprises.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know. I know that there was all of a sudden a rumor about the Browns trading Odell Beckham Jr. And then
Yeah.
they said, "Oh no, we're committed to OBJ." So, I mean, this is typical pre-draft stuff. A whole bunch of names are going to get floated. Um, I'm really mostly concerned about the Eagles, and
Yeah, obviously.
obviously, what I really want to see out of the Eagles, I want them to trade up. I want them to be aggressive, go up and get one of those top three receivers, Judy, Lamb. I can't remember who the other guy is. It looks like they want to try and get this Justin Jefferson guy
Yeah,
out
that's
of
another.
LSU.
Yep, another
Um,
top prospect.
but now I'm hearing that teams are going to try and jump the Eagles to try and take this guy before 21, which is
Unfortunately, that knowing what your draft need is so obviously is such a double-edged sword because
yeah.
it's like you have your game plan in place, but everybody else knows what you're going for as well.
And some teams will be like, well, we need a wide receiver too, so we might as well kill two birds with one stone, go and get our guy and prevent, another team from getting their guy. Um, so that might, if that happens, if somebody trades up just before us or just happens to take him just before us, all of a sudden we're looking at a situation where, like I said, we could trade back. If our guy's not there, I don't think Howie's going to want to reach for somebody that he doesn't like. So they could trade back in the first round, acquire another second round pick, and shuffle things that way.
Yeah.
So that might be a surprise. I don't want to see that happen. I'd rather it be the other way. I'd rather us jump up in the first round into the top half, try and get one of those big three receivers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would agree as well. I think this is the time for the Eagles to be a little more aggressive.
Yeah.
But I definitely also could see Howie, if he doesn't get I'm sure there's one out of those three that he's dead set on. And if it doesn't come to fruition, yeah, he might scale back.
Yeah, I mean, that's a classic Eagles move.
Yeah.
What about you? Do you see any surprises, or I mean, what are you most looking forward to about the
Yeah,
draft?
no, my big thing is I think somebody's going to make a mistake just in pure either communication or the connections or something like that. Something's going to go wrong. There's too many teams. There's 32 teams. One of them's going to have a glitch. It's just numbers.
I want to see the stream crap out. Like I want to see Goodell be like, well,
Whoop.
just like freeze. Yeah.
Yeah. So
there's going to be technical issues somewhere somehow.
Right. I also think, just for you, Mike.
Okay, just for me. Okay.
Patriots.
What about them?
They're going to do something. They've been too quiet for too long, especially after Brady left. And
they need a quarterback.
Brady's been saying all this stuff about, I never was paid attention to by them. The Patriots have been too quiet. There's something's going on.
There's something cooking.
Right.
They need a quarterback. Do you see them jumping up?
Possibly. Although Belichick doesn't really have a history of doing that for quarterbacks.
No.
But it doesn't mean that he could do a different kind of trade,
Well, he hasn't need to do that for quarterbacks. You say he doesn't have a history of doing that for quarterbacks, but for the past 20 years, they've had a quarterback.
Yeah.
So we don't know what his history of quarterbacks is really.
Well, I mean, yeah, other than drafting like a backup.
Right, exactly. So this might be, I mean, this is uncharted territory for the Patriots. This draft is completely different. They're not building around Brady anymore.
Yep.
Okay,
so I know you'd love to talk sports the whole time, but we got to move on to our next topic. Hey, next week, maybe we do a draft reaction thing. We'll see.
Maybe, yeah.
But no, we want to do some entertainment news, but this isn't really news since there's no entertainment going on.
There's nothing.
Instead, though, we did ask. We were going to take questions, and we had a question here that came in through our good friend Steph. She responded on the video feed, so we're going to take the question seriously. She wanted to know our opinions on what is the meaning of the monolith in 2001: A Space Odyssey, classic Kubrick.
This is the most bizarre podcast episode ever.
Yeah, we're just bouncing around.
That's what's happening right now.
Yeah.
The monolith. So you've seen 2001: Space Odyssey. I've seen
Yeah.
2001: Space Odyssey. You know what? It's not a movie that I ever want to watch again.
No?
For as good as it is, no.
Huh.
I have no desire. You know why? Because it's a much better book than it is a movie. It's all over the place. It's all over the place. There's no reason to have a 12-minute acid trip into Lava Lamp World. You
Why
know?
not?
Because it's stupid.
This is the line in the sand with Kubrick. You either follow him to the ends of the earth or you don't. And Mike has dropped the line.
I like Kubrick. I grow impatient with some of his more esoteric directorial choices. But let's get back on the topic of the monolith. The monolith. I don't even know where to begin. How do we begin dissecting this? It's iconic.
Yes.
It's iconic in the movie.
Right.
Okay. So it's this. If you haven't seen the movie, it's this giant like obsidian black slab, right? That just sticks straight up in the sky. It's a monolith. It's like
I just realized this is oddly appropriate for fans of us of Control. Because
because
there is a very similar element in the video game.
Yeah. Wait, which element?
The nail.
Oh, the nail. Well, I'm only partway through the downloadable content, so.
Okay.
But yes.
Again, play Control, by the way. We've mentioned that before.
play Control. But like, I mean, it's interesting you bring up Control because like, Control has this theme of like objects have power, right? And the monolith, follows that theme closely, that objects have power. One of the first scenes we see that involves the monolith is like the apes going up to it and they touch it and they're like, I don't know, inspired by it or given some knowledge by it because then they can start using tools. They've advanced somehow, yeah. It appears a couple times throughout the film. We don't need to talk about spoilers because it's like a 50-year-old movie.
Yeah.
And then it appears a few more times. It appears at the very end, right before the main character turns into Star Baby.
Yeah.
Planetoid thing. So the narrative reasoning behind the monolith is that it's literally an alien device that is communicating, or it serves as a beacon, but it's like some marker left behind by an ancient spacefaring civilization that's like, we're going to see if intelligent life is in this area. That's like the quote-unquote narrative reason. Thematically, I mean, it could be anything. It could be religious. It could be a symbol of power. It could be, I read one thing that was very interesting, that it's literally cinema, because if you turn it on its side, it's the CinemaScope widescreen, and it's this black, this black oblong object. It's just, that's the thing about 2001: Space Odyssey, is it's so open to interpretation. It's so abstract.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost like a bunch of little vignettes. It's not like one connected story. It's the story of mankind, right? Their evolution from crawling around in the dirt to making their way to the stars to transcending to something beyond the stars.
Doesn't that also match? There's like a criteria for civilization. I'm deep in way back. I'm trying to go back in my sociology class. That like some guy he made like the different statuses of civilization,
like class 1, 2, and 3 civilizations, where it's like I think humans are like class 1, where we're like just. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Like in terms of spacefaring, like how advanced we are.
Right. I think if you colonize space, you've hit the like third step.
Something like that. Yeah.
So I always took that to be something like that. That it's
the
like
monolith.
That like the monolith is like a speed arrow.
Speed arrow.
Yeah, is like you've shot forward to the next progression of civilization. And for me it works because when the dude dies at the end and he touches the thing and he gets reborn as star child, star baby, whatever you want to call it, he's conquered time. So he has progressed into the next phase of civilization.
So it's interesting you mentioned that. It's a common trope in science fiction of the idea of like a piece of technology or an artifact being left behind that serves as like a springboard for up and coming civilizations. Like we saw it in Mass Effect, right, with the mass relays and stuff. So it's a common trope in sci-fi
that's a good callback.
Got my illusions.
Yeah.
It's this common trope in sci-fi where spacefaring civilizations, and even you see in a lot of conspiracy theories in our own history, people think that the Easter Island heads and the pyramids were built by, ancient spacefaring civilizations, that they're really like objects of power and all that crazy, Illuminati BS. So it's this science fiction trope that also is bled into real life as well. So the monolith could be interpreted as something like that. I don't know what I don't know. I mean, that's the thing. It's so open to interpretation.
Yeah, and that's the ultimate thing to boil everything down to is as much as this seems like a cool question, at the end of the road, it's Kubrick. Kubrick was I mean he always said it was more about the visual experience whenever he was directing his films. He wasn't looking so much into making a perfect adaptation or getting or elevating his craft or anything. He wanted to create the best experience where people would talk about his work, and that's what he did. And you either like it or you don't. Everybody has like a point with Kubrick. Everybody gets to a point. And they either are just annoyed.
Like, all right, that's enough.
Yeah, they're either annoyed or they jump over. I'm one of those people. I've jumped over, but
you've jumped over.
Yeah,
you're following the monolith.
I love Kubrick. Yeah, I love Kubrick's
No,
movies.
Kubrick is great, but you're right. He's a very visual storyteller. It's about visuals with him. One of my favorite scenes is when the ape or humanoid or whatever you want to call it throws the bone up into the sky.
Yeah.
And it's that visual transition to a space station.
Yep.
So it's cool. So the monolith is, ascension. It's pointing up to the sky. It represents our ascension. It happens at very specific stages when the apes discover and use tools, when the humans discover it on the moon. I think it's like on Jupiter, and then at the end where the guy dies and becomes Star Baby. So it represents ascension, maybe.
Right.
We could just spiral on and on forever and ever.
We could.
About the monolith.
We could. But there is another topic that she also wanted us to hit on, and that's about Titanic.
Yeah.
And I like Titanic.
I believe her exact words were, "No, I'm not gonna."
What was her exact words?
No, I was gonna make a joke. I was gonna say, see, I think Titanic sucks. And Steph and I have always argued about Titanic, and what she wants us to talk about is about the ending of Titanic and how two people could clearly fit on the door, in my opinion.
Right, and didn't you mention there was an episode of MythBusters that
there was an episode of MythBusters where they both get on a board and they're like, all right, we can both fit on this board. You know what I mean? And they basically busted it. They said that the ending doesn't make any sense, that they both could have lived. They both could have stayed on the board. That, it would have floated just fine. And then James Cameron, talked to them and was like, I agree. They could have, but for dramatic reasons, they couldn't have. Which is dumb to me. It's overly convenient. Just the whole movie annoys me. It's the worst ending ever. It's like, here's this old lady. She's like, I've lived this wonderful life with this loving husband and family and this priceless jewel, but I'm going to remember that one lay on this boat, 80 years ago. And then she throws the priceless jewel into the ocean. She made no correct decisions the entirety of the movie. Let's just get that straight right away.
And that's why it's the best ending ever.
Oh, get out of here. I'm done with you.
It's A-okay.
A-okay. Okay.
Yes. Now, I do have a soft spot for Titanic.
You do.
I think it's really a well done movie in terms of just the actual visuals and everything into the production that went into it. It was another one of those movies that was art from adversity. That there was a lot of things that went wrong during the filming of that movie. But I think it served to almost drive the actors and the actresses to portray their roles better, because I think they did a really good job. And I love just the actual. There's a lot of details that James Cameron made sure to put into that film. You know, between the unsinkable Molly Brown, how her character is, the band plays until the ship sinks. The captain went down with the ship, but the founder didn't. Like, he went out of his way to make sure that he got those details in. So it has a soft spot in my heart. I like Titanic.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
you and Steph can like Titanic. It was a fine movie. The ending has always annoyed me. What it is.
The funny part is there was a different ending, and it's atrocious. Yeah, it is atrocious.
What's the different ending?
The different ending
I'm sure you've told this to me before, but I don't remember.
The different ending is when the old lady throws the heart of the ocean into the ocean.
Right.
They actually catch her doing it.
Okay.
And it's just
the documentary crew. Isn't that the whole gimmick? It's the documentary crew asking her about?
Yeah, they happen to be walking across the poop deck when she's there. Yeah, okay. And they catch her doing it, and it's really just odd and bizarre. And the one dude just laughs at it, while another.
That was my reaction too. So.
No, but like comically, and like another dude is pissed off at her. He actually calls her your old hag. Like it's a horrible ending.
She threw a priceless gem into the ocean.
Yeah, but at least there's some like tact to it with this ending. The initial ending is atrocious. It's horrible. I'm glad he realized that ending sucked. Okay, speaking of endings that don't suck, I need to do some odd news. We haven't done some odd news in a while, so
here we go. Let's do it. It's time for an odd news nugget.
Right, we always got to have some odd news. And since we're stuck in the house due to the coronavirus, I've been trying to find coronavirus-y odd news.
God. Okay.
This one is not Florida.
Oh, it breaks our streak.
This is a whole different series, so I'm not going to count it into the streak.
Where is it from?
It is one of your favorite states, Mike. Iowa.
Oh God, Iowa. What state? Iowa.
They're always up to something in Iowa.
It's always those middle of the country states. They don't know what's going on. They're too far removed from society.
Yeah. So this actually happened. Worried that her meth was contaminated, an Iowa woman actually drove to police headquarters and asked cops to check her drug stash to make sure it wasn't contaminated by the coronavirus.
I can't even deal with these. The cops are like, this is the easiest arrest we've ever made.
Yeah, no legwork required.
Right. They're just like, do we even bother cuffing her? Or do we just, walk her back into a cell and tell her that's a waiting room?
I feel bad for her. Do we even have to arrest her?
Do we just let her go? You're like, we'll take pity on you. It's coronavirus time. Why would she think her meth was can coronavirus infect meth?
I don't know. Maybe because it's like a surface. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not a doctor.
Is it a surface?
Like it's like a surface kind of. I don't know. Beats me.
I'm gonna look it up.
You look it up. I'll finish the story. 53-year-old Sean Salmon.
Like the fish?
Yeah, and this is a woman's name too, by the way.
Sean Salmon.
Sean Salmon. Yep. She arrived at the police department Sunday afternoon and reportedly admitted to officers that, yeah, I used meth. So, whatever, that's fine. No big deal. Come on, we've all done it before.
Sure, okay.
But that's when she requested that officers please check my narcotics for the COVID-19 virus.
Why would she think that they could do that, though? What makes her think that the cops would be able to test for something like that?
I just love the fact she's like, yeah, I'm on meth, no big deal. Yeah, come on, all right. Yeah, come on.
She's like, that's not why I'm here. Pay attention. Stay focused.
Right.
Cops.
Yeah.
I need you to do some scientific testing on my drugs for me.
You can't do anything about the meth that's already in me. I need you to do stuff about the meth that I'm going to sell. That's more important.
Exactly.
Very important.
Oh wait, was she selling it or taking it?
Yeah, she was selling this, by the way. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So wait, so
this was actually a business decision. She was worried about her customers.
Is she eligible for like the relief fund? You know, can she take out like an emergency like small business loan?
She should be. Yeah. This is
for her drug business.
This is her business at stake. Yeah, it's very important.
So okay, so she was a drug seller, not well. I guess she was taking them too, but she was concerned that she's a concerned citizen. She doesn't want to pass coronavirus on to her buyers.
Right.
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 So she could have been one of these shady business people that doesn't care about the public health and safety. She could have just sold people infected coronavirus meth, but she went the extra step and she got it tested by the police.
Yes.
That's a selling point. That's a selling point.
What a citizen.
A hero.
A hero among Iowans.
That's right. It's the best they have to offer.
During a subsequent pat down, they found that Miss Salmon had 15 grams of meth, marijuana, and a large amount of drug paraphernalia.
Okay.
She was arrested on a pair of felony narcotics charges and a misdemeanor marijuana possession count. She must be doing good business because she posted a $25,000 bond.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so she's doing pretty good.
She's doing all right.
Yeah, you know.
Apparently coronavirus hasn't impacted her business that much.
Right. Yeah, people still need their meth.
Are people getting Uber Eats for meth? How does that work?
Yeah, Uber meth.
Uber meth. Don't give them any ideas. Don't give people any ideas.
It's probably already a thing.
It's probably a thing. It is probably a thing.
There's probably some sort of deep web app or something that you can do.
There's some black market deep web, dark web stuff. Yeah. Oh man, why does the world suck?
Yeah. She wrote, interestingly, on a Facebook post. By the way, we're on Facebook Live, so this is appropriate.
Okay.
She wrote, quote, to her followers, "Wake the F up. Please take social distancing seriously. I work and bring happiness to my residents and customers. I don't go to stores. I spend my time at home. Please stay home." So you have to wonder, I think she was talking about her drug business instead of...
Probably. Yeah.
I don't think she was talking about her bank job.
No, not at all.
But yeah, true story. She wanted the cops to test her meth. She was looking out for her customers. But
this is very upsetting. Why would she think that the cops have that capability? The cops are running like a chemistry lab in the back.
Yeah.
Next to the holding cells.
Yeah. Walter White's in the back. It's great.
Exactly.
He's got the beakers and everything. He'll figure it out.
It makes no sense. What does she think? The police station is like a pharmaceutical company?
And by the way, of course I'm on meth. Of course. This is let's move past this.
Look, she had more pressing matters. Okay?
Yes. All right.
She's like, look, fine. Yes, I was on the meth. Let's stay focused on the matter at hand here.
Yeah. Come on. This is Iowa.
This is Iowa.
Everybody's on meth here.
She's like, look, you're cops in Iowa. Just assume that everybody's on meth. Okay. Yeah. Let's move on. Let's move forward.
Right. Come on. We don't have to dwell on this. All right.
We don't have to dwell on this.
All right. So there you go. That was my odd news nugget for you guys.
Nice.
Always appropriate to have something coronavirus-y.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So speaking of still being stuck at home, we like to have our final segment be devoted to apocalypse activities. Yep. Mike, you have something here that you wanted to mention that you're doing.
It's the only things other than video games and watching Netflix nonstop. I've been doing some baking, and in addition to the walking. So we've been making lots of baked goods, and that seems to be a popular trend. I see lots of people posting online about all the baking they're doing. I've gotten in on the trend. It's a lot of fun to bake something because, everybody's talking about their coronavirus snacks, and it's fun to make your own coronavirus snacks. So
that's
what
nice.
You laugh?
I like to bake. We're coming off a story of meth, and you should have like a
not
nice
that kind
wholesome,
of baking.
You have a nice,
wholesome.
wholesome.
It's like, would you like a cookie? Yeah.
Very nice.
That's what differentiates us from the meth users in Iowa, Rich.
Yeah.
Yeah, just remember that,
very
okay?
good. Very good.
But no, I like to make some baked goods every once in a while. Me and the girlfriend made some cookies last week. We're gonna bake some more stuff probably. But like my brother and his girlfriend, they've been doing a lot of baking. My cousins have been doing a lot of baking. I see all the Facebook posts of all the delicious baked goods. You got to get in on the trend. You got to bake something, man. Do you like to bake?
Personally, no.
Just buy a box cake, but just buy
I'm
a
not-
box cake and just make it. It's fun.
No, I would rather actually like do something like substantial. My biggest thing is I've been watching like random recipe videos, especially like
But are you cooking the recipes?
not really, but I'm still watching and learning.
Well, how is that different than being not quarantined?
I don't know.
Because I watch the like the gift recipes and all those recipe videos too. You got to actually put it into practice.
Right, I know, but I like to watch all these recipe videos. So yeah, at some point I will. But
Yeah, you got to put on the apron, man. Got to get in the kitchen.
Yeah,
I say that like I cook all the time.
Yeah, good job, Mike.
I don't ever cook.
But yeah, I've been watching like the like Gordon Ramsay's one of them, but like specifically the specific YouTube stuff that he's doing where he's not like yelling at the camera.
Right.
I really find those enjoyable.
Have you ever seen his what is it, scrambled videos where like he brings celebrities on and they do like a breakfast or something?
Yeah, Steve-O put hot sauce in his eye or something.
I didn't see that one, but I want to see that one.
God. Yeah.
You know what? Food videos are fun. Have you ever looked at, I think it's Epicurious. They do 4 levels of cooking where they take like a recipe, like just say scrambled eggs, because that's the one thing that I know how to make pretty good. And they do an amateur chef, a home cook, and a professional chef make scrambled eggs 3 ways. And then they have a food scientist come in and break down scientifically what each one of them did and why it works and why it doesn't work and like why we use certain techniques in cooking. And so it's really interesting. Yeah, it's like whatever food 4 ways. It's like steak 4 ways or cookies 4 ways. And it's always amateur, home, professional, and then scientific. It's really interesting. Yeah. You get to see really tasty food being made in different ways, and then you learn the cooking methods as well as the scientific reasoning behind why it works. It's very cool.
All right, I'll have to check that
There
out.
you go.
That does sound pretty good.
Add that to your recipe playlist.
Recipe.
Recipe.
Yo, it's the recipe in the house.
Recipe.
There you go, creating new lingo.
Yeah.
So I guess on my end, I finished everything with Control, so that's been good.
Okay.
I'm thinking I might do Death Stranding. I'm not sure.
Ooh, it's on sale right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of tempted to do it.
Go grab it up. It's on sale.
I've heard it's a game where either you're going to love right away or you're going to hate right away.
You got nothing but time.
That is true.
So you have time to devote to it if you want to.
Yeah. So
I'm still trying to get through Control though.
Yeah. So I might go that route. I'm not 100% sure yet.
Death Stranding is an interesting game to play right now if you're going for like strictly thematic reasons to play a game, because the premise of it is like reconnecting America, which is sort of like a sort of sappy way of like, America's so split up now, everybody's isolated and quarantined, and it's nice to have a game that focuses on connecting people.
Yeah.
So there you go, Death Stranding.
And also another thing to keep an eye out for is Better Call Saul. Season 5 season finale is Monday.
My gosh.
So
I'm so far behind. I've only seen like 2 or 3 episodes.
I actually think Better Call Saul is better than Breaking Bad. It's so good.
Wow, that's a big statement.
They've really done a great job of not falling into traditional mistakes that prequels do.
Right.
And
better because it's not a prequel. That's the thing. It's not a traditional prequel.
I mean, I think a lot of people would just kind of write it off as a prequel.
They would, yeah.
But it has like this right blend of comedy, drama, stakes, and it's just perfect. Even my mom loves it. She's one of the hardest critics to get on board. She loves Better Call Saul.
The acting is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And the style of it is phenomenal. It's just such a great show. I've only seen like 2 or 3 episodes this season. I've been lagging behind. I had to stop for Tiger King. I had to stop for Hunters. And
Yeah, you love your Tiger King. Did you watch
have you?
the newest episode?
I did. It was very interesting.
It
It
is.
was, it was
I heard.
just
I heard it wasn't that good. I heard it was just a bunch of random interviews.
okay. Here's the thing. If you're going into the eighth episode thinking, oh my God, it's going to be more traditional Tiger King. It's going to be, craziness, nonstop craziness. You're not going to enjoy it. What I liked about it is that they interviewed all the the actual people. Um,
Yeah, these aren't characters in a story. These are actually
you,
real
you
life
have to
people.
you have to remind yourself that they're not characters because they are that like they seem that fictional. But they interviewed like Saf and Rinky, the other guy, the one zoo manager. They interviewed the TV producer, the campaign manager, just about what it was like, on Joe's staff and at the zoo. And you learn a lot of really crazy things, like in the documentary, stuff they don't talk about in the documentary. So remember when Joe said like he would never shoot his animals with his gun?
Hmm.
Apparently that's not true. Like he shot animals all the
Oh.
time. Yeah, like really stuff that's makes you really question or second guess. I mean, everybody knows Joe's a bad guy, right? Nobody thought he was a good guy.
Well, yeah, he's not
But
squeaky clean or anything. No,
no,
no.
but it makes it does reveal some of the more nefarious things that he's done, but it also reveals some of like the positive things about the other people. Like you just assume, again, going back to the Iowa story, everybody's on meth, you know?
Yeah.
But no, they're
Everybody in the center of this country is
just
on meth.
on meth. Right.
Iowa, Oklahoma, that like,
It's just
that nice sliver.
west of the Appalachians, just meth, just filling meth on the
Yeah,
map. No.
just
But
everybody.
that was one of the things is a lot of people are like, no, we don't like nobody like a lot of the zoo people didn't do meth apparently. Like, no, we never touched the stuff, and they were clean for the whole time they were shooting it. It was just Joe Exotic and um his one husband, you know. It was just interesting. It was just interesting to hear them talk about the production of it and their views on the production of it and the consensus that they all formed, because you think that they're all like pro Joe people, but they're like, oh no, he deserves to be in jail.
Yeah,
Like
I
he
bet you a couple of them weren't probably too kind to him.
polished, post production documentary. So I'd say give it a watch. It's like 40
Okay.
minutes. It's like, yeah, just give it a shot. It's interesting.
All right.
People were
So
expecting it to be crazy, and it wasn't.
yeah, right. See, that's the thing. We want every episode to be crazy.
When you set the mark at like throwing grenades out of helicopters and feeding people to tigers, like
Yeah.
there's no turning back from that.
Right. Episode. I said this last week. Episode 3 the one that goes into the murder of Carol Baskin's husband. Almost played out like a really long BuzzFeed Unsolved episode. It
Yep.
was
Yep.
so perfect. I loved it. Which is also a good transition. Their season finale is also this weekend, and it's also coincidentally their 100th episode. So another
Oh,
reason
very
to
cool.
watch that show if you're interested in true crime stuff like that. Another way to keep occupied during.
That's what I've been doing. I've been watching Unsolved too. So
Yeah,
good.
very good. So there you go. A couple ways to stay occupied while you're staying at home. Okay, so we've been having fun right now. How have you liked it? This is one of the few times we've been doing Facebook Live.
It doesn't change for me. Are you asking the viewers?
No, for you, yeah, Mike, because
Oh, okay.
because usually we tape the podcast, but this is
Yeah.
the first time we've done it live in a while.
I mean, it's not any different except for the fact that all of our mistakes get to stay in instead
Yep.
of being edited
They
out
don't get
post production. But we're so polished and we're so professional that we had very few mistakes.
Oh yes, very
Yes.
exquisite, very exquisite.
Very humble as well. No, I enjoy it. I have to wait and see what the finished product looks like, but it's just we always talk about art from adversity, and this is one of those cases where it's like, this presents a unique opportunity for us to try new things, for us to try different formats, try different segments, keep things changing and hopefully, reach more of the audience and get more audience interaction. We had Steph write in a couple of questions, and we're going to be desperate for content because the whole world is shutting down after the draft. There's going to be nothing. The entertainment world has ground to a halt. So, yeah, send us with like literally any questions. We talked about the monolith from 2001: Space Odyssey.
Yes.
Nothing is off the table. Okay.
Right. Send it our way. Whether it's sports, entertainment, odd news, or something else that you want us to talk about.
It only needs to be loosely related to one of those topics.
Yeah.
If you guys have seen any of our podcasts, you know the topics are only suggestions.
Yes.
You know?
So if you have a question that you want us to tackle on next week's episode, please leave a comment below. Or if you're listening to this on the podcast feed, shoot us a tweet on obviously on Twitter, on Instagram, obviously.
Obviously, yeah.
Yes. Rachel just commented, talk about your favorite Disney movies. I guess for me, it's Star Wars.
No, we're gonna say that for next week. No, I'm gonna give you homework of Disney movies to watch.
No, I'm fine.
Rachel's gonna give you homework of Disney movies to watch.
No, I'm good. I'm fine. It's my birthday weekend. I'm not gonna watch Disney movies I don't want to watch. All right, so no, that's not happening.
Fair enough.
But no, we will. To go back to our original point, we will respond to all of the questions that you type below on this Facebook Live video, or that you tweet at us, anything like that. Let us know. If you want the main channels, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter at the Crispy Noodle, on Instagram at the Crispy Noodle Podcast. For individual tweets, I am at Rich Liebig, RichLiebig.
I'm at Mikey Costanzo, MikeyCostanzo. Also, make sure to subscribe to the Crispy Noodle Podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Podcasts. You get the latest episodes downloaded for free. Obviously, there's a little bit of a different format, different release schedule. But if you're subscribed, you're going to get the episodes regardless. So make sure you're
some
subscribed.
way, shape, or form, you're going to get some sort of content each week.
Absolutely.
Yes. And thank you guys for tuning in onto the Crispy Compact Communiqué. Technically episode 4, but our first one on Facebook Live. Let us know how we did, and let us know what you want us to talk about next week. But for right now, it is time to wrap it up. This has been the Crispy Noodle Podcast. Let us be the Crispy Noodle in your vegetarian salad of life and boring news. Were you mimicking me?
Yes.
Very good.
I know all the lines by heart now after doing it for 7 years.
That's right. All right, so we'll see you guys next week.
See you guys
later. Bye-bye.